What happens when three buffoons give life advice, explore unrealistic situations, and give random topics more thought than they probably deserve? It's the Spitballers Podcast with Andy, Mike, and Jason.
Wow, waka waka chaka.
Ooh,
I liked it.
Little something new, a little something spicy.
It's a little wild guitar, my friends.
No, that's good. You need some variation on these scats sometimes, and you didn't really falter at any point. You didn't lose your confidence. It was the ending was a little newish.
Well, so what instrument should I do next episode?
I don't know, but here's what I wanted to share with
Tuba.
Please don't get me started on the tuba players again. For the listeners at home, that was not a real wah guitar.
Oh my gosh.
That was
that you?
That was actually my voice.
Wow.
I didn't think about how clearly misleading that was because I was watching you.
Yes.
Like I knew.
My eyes were closed, and I thought you pulled something out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly. A wah guitar.
A wah guitar is what you.
Oh, we're off to a good start.
All right.
Would you rather? Jason explains what's the difference on the show today. We're drafting the best home inventions over the last 30 years.
I'll put the wah guitar away.
Please do. At Spitballers Pod on Twitter, Instagram.com/Spitballer.
Spitballers?
Spitballers. Yeah, no, Spitballers Pod on Instagram. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for telling your friends about the show. If you want them to enjoy themselves, this is one of the ways to make sure of it. Let them know about our podcast.
A lot of people don't even know how to make friends anymore. They're like,
It's true. It's very difficult.
This is how
Yeah.
people have shared experiences around the Spitballers.
You hit the water cooler and you say, "Hey, did you catch the latest Spitballers?"
Right.
And they will probably say, "Of course."
They'll say, is that the one with the wah guitar?
Well, they haven't heard this one yet.
Oh, that's true.
But they'll say, "Of course," or they will say, "No, please tell me more because that sounds hilarious."
That's a good point, Mike. Are we done promoting the show?
Yep.
Al?
On to the
Never.
actual show.
All right. Would you rather time?
Would you rather?
Are you War and
Yeah, what
Peace
is-
on your
yes,
watch right now?
Jason just look Jason's got an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And he was reading a text, but
not
he was
getting away with
It was
that.
like for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
What
That
are
better
you
be the
doing?
longest.
It was just a very long tweet. That
We're in the middle
apparently-
of a show.
Well, yeah, but
It was
there
a
was
tweet?
music playing. It was about. You guys want me to talk about Marquise
Yes.
Hollywood Brown?
No.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
figured you were reading another chapter in Harry Potter over there or something.
Look, I'm a slow reader. Okay, it was like 15 words.
All right. Would you rather? Number one here. If you could temporarily be transported to the future, would you rather spend 1 year in 2200
Ooh, okay.
or 1 year in the 1 year in the year 2200 or 1 month in the year 3200?
Okay,
You
so
see what
we're-
I'm saying?
Yeah,
You go to the future for a year.
And I'm going by myself.
Sure.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Congratulations.
So you got 1 year in the year 2200, which is
and I
almost
have to come back.
almost 80 years from now.
Unless you die there,
Oh,
right?
Right. I mean, I guess.
Oh, man.
I mean, you'd technically be
Now you're opening
you're-
up a
you're dead.
whole
or 1 month
situation.
100 or 1,000 years later than that. So that's a massive amount of there's going to be a tremendous amount of technological advancement between now and 2200. That's 78 years away.
And not enough.
But you're talking a lot more than that in 3200. But it's
Right.
only a month. I mean, you do get to spend a year there. Which one are you taking?
Now, are we saying that we're ruling out showing up in 3200 and it's just scorched?
Correct.
Like
This is not
you
the
get there and there's
nuclear wasteland that you have to spend a month in.
There's nothing there and it was just a trap.
This is the human civilization thrives in the future.
Okay.
Do you want to go 80 years in the
Exists in
future
the
where you
future.
can sure you can go 80 years into the future and have a year, or 180 years in the future and you get a month. And for the sake of the spirit of this question, you're not losing any time at home. You just
Okay,
you know
so
what I mean?
it's a
You're
blink.
not losing a
Yeah,
year
that's
for your
fair.
family. This is about, would you rather see the distant future for a short period of time or the not so distant future?
But is it though? Because exponential, right? Like, think about this. How different was the world in 1990?
Very different.
30 years ago. Completely different universe.
Dial-up internet.
Yeah. I'm not even.
No internet.
No
Yeah.
internet in 1990. So you're unless you were like, you worked at Honeywell or something. I don't know. But 30 years, a lot has happened. So I guess the question for me is, do I want to spend a whole year? Is there a year's worth of things to discover 80 years into the future?
Well, I don't know that there would be time-wise, spending your time to fill a year seems impossible. But
there's got to be cool stuff you'd want to hang out and do.
Yeah, but that's almost too much time.
You got 78 years of movies that have been released, Jason. Do you know how much time you need to fill?
I could watch a lot of movies, but I think that they would probably
You guys still got Netflix?
really bad to me because sensibilities change. Who knows?
What's funny?
What's funny? What's not? I won't understand any movies. I will be the ultimate old curmudgeon. Like usually an old person's like 80 years old or whatever. I would be 240 years old.
I don't get it.
Well, that's
not funny.
That's not going to be more helpful in the year 3200.
Which is why I only want a month.
And then he said, Tangerine. The room erupts in laughter.
Yes.
What?
3200 is where I'm going. I mean, the shorter amount of time, but the more discovery.
For sure, because my hope when I get there is one technology. There's one piece of technology that I hope exists when I arrive. And I don't think it will exist 80 years from now. I do, and I know that this is
You're going to reveal this technology?
Yes, but I do think this will exist 180 years from now. And I think this will be what changes the future. And that will be teleportation.
Okay.
It's never happen.
It will happen with.
I'm sorry, it will never happen.
Quantum entanglement. It's going to happen, people, but not in our lifetime.
Sure. Just like the old hoverboards. We got all the way there.
My thought process was a little bit different. Like the time in the future wasn't a huge part of my decision. It's like, but if you go to 2200, right, there is a chance that we can see that at our I was like, if things advance, there is a slight chance
we make it to our 120s.
Yes, there is a slight chance that can happen. Now, I mean, people at 120, who knows if we're ever medically advanced enough that you're not just sitting in a chair wishing for the sweet relief of death.
Oh, we'll be half robot.
Now, you do know that we'd be 216 years old.
Oh, I was thinking of 2100. Yeah. Well, Jason was there too.
Right there.
Trust me, I put in 2200 minus 1984 three times before I realized that mistake.
So take the slight chance and just reduce it by 90%.
Right.
And so
there's still
there's who knows? Who knows? We could be in the machine by
our
then.
kids might see it.
How does this math work?
You can't handle it.
I can't handle it because we're saying it's 80 years from now. And 80 years from now,
my brain was doing.
But it's
years
not.
from now,
it's 180.
Okay, so we were just wrong with that.
Well, you thought the first is right and the second one's wrong?
No, I just
the
knew
math is all the same.
They couldn't possibly. So
we've been saying 80 years this whole time?
Yes.
Like idiots?
That 2200 is 80 years from now.
I blame you.
It's not, though. It's 180.
Okay, so
because 2100 is 80 years.
Okay,
from
so
now.
we're not making it to either one of these. My argument was going to be,
son of a gun.
Wait,
he's right.
You think?
No, he's right. I just thought it was 21-22 right now. I had to write it down on the board to make sure that 2022 looked right. Son of a gun. I just lost 100 years.
You just said that 180 years from now, teleportation would exist.
Oh, maybe.
So you just got your 100 years.
Oh, man.
You're going to be sad. Just give it another 1,000 years.
What year is this?
Oh.
So my argument was going to be, if you could make it there slightly and not really be able to take advantage of the things, but know what's coming.
Sure.
I think that would feel bad. So I want to go into 3200 where I have absolutely no chance of making it there with my current body.
Yeah, look, in 3200, maybe it's not apocalyptic. We take that out. Like the world's not just singed earth.
Yes.
But it could still be bad. It could still be like one of those
it could.
The movies with the pretty dilapidated, horrible society.
Things have gone wrong. Or maybe we are just now the robots to the robots.
Yeah.
We are
their robots?
We are their servants.
Skynet.
So you end up being a robot slave?
Yes,
For a
robot
month?
slave. So you don't want a year. So I mean, that's really why you got to go 3,200 is to make sure you don't have a year.
Now
of
you know the
servitude.
year 3,200 is over 1 million years from now.
Yes.
Would
Math
robots,
checks out.
Would robots really want human slaves?
No, they
Only
would.
when they evolve enough to become lazy, which would happen.
Is that an evolution?
That's an
That is
evolution.
the next step. Like that's an advancement.
100%. They would, because what would happen? Genuinely, what would happen with AI is they would continue making their technology and
I'm
their
bored.
hardware and software better and better and better until they can basically have a human brain, which would then start the whole cycle over.
That's a weakness of our
Yeah.
brains.
Well, time will tell. Go to 3,200. I'm pretty sure I'm right here.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Would you rather not shower for a week or 5 times a day
Oh, that's easy.
for a week? So
I mean, yeah, that's easy.
it is easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, super
It's
easy.
5 a day.
It's 5 a day. Yeah.
Has to be 5 a day.
I think that would become very burdensome. Now,
Oh,
this,
absolutely. But being a stink bomb for
now I'm down. I want this to be applied to. This is just the rest of your life. This is not just a week. This is the rest of your life. You're either doing it once a week or 5 times a day.
how much time has to be in
5
between
minutes.
showers?
Oh, between them?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna
that's a good question.
No, I mean Al can rule on this, but there's got to be what, like an hour? Yeah.
An hour? Okay.
I think it's less about time and more about what you do. You have to have an activity. Like if I went and rode a Peloton for 30 minutes and got sweaty, that would count as okay. And now I'm gonna go shower.
Because you could shower when you wake up, go exercise, shower.
Mhm.
Okay, that's 2 knocked out of the park.
Okay,
Right.
now I'm
You
gonna.
got to get 3 more in.
You'd have to
You
find a
could
way
have
to
a-
have a lunchtime shower. Like
Yeah.
this is a deal breaker depending on where you work. Like if you don't have a shower at work,
You could always probably use a shower after you laugh a little bit.
oh man, I could take a good shower right now. Well, this is part of why I want the 5 showers a week. I love showers. That's one of my favorite times of the day. Is
5 times a day. Not only you forget, there's going to be hygienic implications to the overshowering side. Dry skin.
Well, I mean, you can. It's just saying shower. I don't think you have to do like a full scrub, full shampoo.
You got to wash yourself, Mike.
Do you have to exfoliate?
Yeah.
No.
every time.
No.
My skin is bleeding.
Because I've had like in the summer in Arizona, it is not uncommon at all to have 2 showers in a day.
It's not uncommon, but 5's a lot every
It
day
is.
of your life, and you're losing time. I mean, let's just pretend. Not only are you losing time in the time you're showering, because I know, Mike, you can get through it quick,
Yes.
but you are now having to accommodate showers.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the day. You go on vacation, guess what? You got to shower 5 times.
Ooh.
You know what? You go to work, you got to shower 5 times. You
But-
come home, you got the burden. Now, the other,
The
You will-
alternative is
no friends.
is untenable because you could
you
have
can spritz yourself with some like Febreze or something.
No.
there is
No, you cannot.
There is I don't know what day it would be. Day 4 or day 5.
It'd be day 3.
You maybe
It'd be
day
day
3,
3.
but at some point in that
Right.
week, you would turn a corner where you can't cover it anymore. And so maybe you could survive this system by picking the day of the week that you shower and your social events, and you know what I mean? Like, hey, I've got a really good, I shower every Friday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have fun on the weekends, and then I try to avoid people through the work week. You might be able to get away with
I mean,
that.
not showering is the key to your antisocial dreams, Mike.
Yeah, but you would feel gross.
Would you?
Yes.
Yeah.
If a tree smells in the woods
And no one's around to
and
smell
no
it.
one's around to smell it, isn't there some?
Yeah, that tree.
It's a famous saying.
That tree still feels bad,
Bad about
its
itself?
hygiene.
Yeah, it does.
Now, here's a somewhat of a tangent off of this, but do you, like, if you were to get rid of all the hair on your body, will you smell less?
Yes,
I think so.
100%.
So, like, you shave all your armpit hair.
If you, if you trim your armpit hair, which I do from time to time, so it's not just a giant.
I do
big
it on the
poof
ridge.
ball.
Sure.
It will
Wait
smell.
a minute, the minute you got 2 like afros under the arm,
I mean, if I let it go, it's
Well, like
poofs,
like when you have
like clown wigs.
like if you have the length where your arms are down and it's still
uh-huh.
it's still
Yeah.
peeking
No,
out the
that-
front.
Yeah.
I trim to prevent that.
That's not a good look.
no, and that holds that hair holds on. That hair holds on to smell, and so yeah, you're gonna
Why
stink
is that?
more with hair because things can hold on to smell. I mean,
Hairs
that's
are,
it.
They're very strong. when it comes to odor molecules.
Would you rather question coming in from Barry on Patreon? Would you rather walk on ice or on hot cement with bare feet?
Has anyone ever walked on ice?
I'm sure
yeah.
it's
I mean,
happened.
No. I'm asking you to. Not in the human existence, because
Someone has to have done this.
probably you know what, like the Ice Age,
Right.
It might have happened.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
So the closest I can get to that, I've never taken off my shoes and socks and then walked on ice, like because the only place I would be able to do that is like an ice rink in Arizona, right?
Right.
But I have many times gone up and played in the snow with inappropriate gear, therefore getting water, snow, ice into my shoes.
Okay.
So I've done that before, and it is extremely unpleasant to have cold feet.
There is a big difference between being completely unpleasant and ruining your body.
Yes.
One of these things.
I don't know which one you're saying
I think
is
they
is
both
which.
ruin your body.
Yeah, I mean, one is frostbite.
No, I don't think you're going to get frostbite from. I mean, if you're saying I got to stand on the ice for 4 hours, yeah, I'm going to get frostbite. But if I'm just walking, that was a hard word to say. If I'm just walking, along ice, it's going to be cold. It's going to be uncomfortable, but it's not going to literally, physically destroy.
It certainly would eventually.
Eventually,
Yeah.
But when it's hot,
So is it about the distance you have to travel?
Sure, maybe. I mean, we have all. I can tell you this: in human history, the three of us have walked bare feet on too hot of a surface because we live in Arizona, and sometimes you need to, you're going to the pool. Well, you're not wearing shoes. You just go walk to the pool, and all of a sudden you're trying to make it to the pool before your skin stays on the ground while your foot leaves the ground because the
foot could stay on the ground in the snow and the ice eventually, like at the distance. Like you can burn your feet, but you can keep your feet. But if your feet get too cold, you can lose them.
Yeah.
Frostbite, you lose your toes.
But this is just saying, would you rather walk on ice or hot cement with bare feet?
Right, that's fair.
And that's, I mean, in general, one of these things, when it's over, I'm going to throw some socks up, maybe put my feet up by the fire, and I'll feel fine. But when my feet are burned, it's like burning your mouth. You eat
It's like burning your feet.
I'm just saying we can all, maybe you listening haven't burned your feet because you don't live in Arizona, but you've eaten a slice of pizza that's too hot. It ruins the rest of your day because the roof of your mouth is now burned. That's what's going to happen to your feet.
Can you move at is there a speed you can move at? That's fast enough to really get by on the flaming hot pavement.
That is a great question. The answer to that is no. For the pavement. But
I mean, people walk on hot coals with a certain level of speed.
That's because there's like the ashes on the coals, and it's a parlor trick.
But I mean, I've gone to get the mail in the heat, and there's a certain you got to get into the flow, man. You got to get a little cadence.
No, I
to
know.
the
You get the
sides
cadence,
of each
and you
feet,
roll on
back and forth,
the outside,
back and forth.
And you're looking for any sliver of a shadow.
Yes,
If there is
yes.
if there's a little fence, you're walking in the little
Oh, you
shadow
bet you
line.
are, yeah.
But like, you can't.
Okay.
But the question was for ice. Because
Yeah.
I've never done it. Is there, if you go fast enough on ice, which then you could fall.
You're gonna fall. I've seen people walk very slowly on ice, and they
they
also
still
fall.
fall.
You go fast enough with your penguin walk where you're leaning over your feet.
Okay.
Can you do that and not
I mean,
have them
I think
freeze
basically
burn?
if you walk on ice for a short period of time, it's really almost no implications. Whereas if you
Yeah.
walk on a really, really hot surface with your
It's-
feet, you're burning them.
in about
Even
4
if you don't
steps.
feel like you're burning them, sometimes
Oh.
you've burnt them.
Mhm.
And you don't know. And you come back and you go, why do my feet hurt so bad like the next day? And it's because they're peeling.
I think to even this out, because walking on ice not going to destroy you. Walking on something too hot absolutely destroy
Oh, are
you.
we doing like a 100-meter dash versus a mile or something?
No, I'm saying that. Let's say that both of these are just 100 yards. A football field. But one of them is the slippery ice you've seen videos of.
Right.
It's like it's wet ice, because I have not experienced this, but have you seen the videos where I know you're laughing at wet ice, but
all ice is slippery.
no,
It's also all
not,
wet.
No. Hold
Not
on.
all ice is wet.
No, it can be frozen solid.
if you can put water
Frozen.
on ice and you've
Yes.
got a real bad
Look,
situation.
if you get it too non-wet, you will stick to it
Yes, that's also true.
and rip your skin off, just like the hot.
But I have never experienced what I see in
it's not
videos
real.
where people get in the perpetual slip state where they start to slide and then they're running their feet and it's like a cartoon in real life, and they are sliding in place until you know they're going to end on their face or their butt. Those are the only two options. They're going to fall.
So we're all going with ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all going with ice, but
Now being super cold is very painful. If I told you it was like I got to walk a mile on ice versus go 100 meters.
I'm taking ice
Okay.
no matter what.
Okay. Well, you like being cold.
Yeah.
You might be able to, if you're like running on the cement, but then you're running on cement, which even when it's a fine temperature, running on cement is
That should
very
be an
painful.
Olympic event. Who can go the furthest on boiling hot cement?
It would look like the power walking, which is so stupid looking.
Just blood and flesh everywhere. All right. One more? Do we got time for one more, Al?
We sure do.
Would you rather listen to a boring story or tell a story that everyone thought was boring?
Oh man.
Have you ever been so pot committed to a boring story that you're telling that in your mind you knew it was funny, but either you've told it wrong or you've just the delivery, the
Yeah.
contents is too inside of a
Absolutely.
joke, but you're so far into it that you do feel like you need to finish. Like you can't. There's no like social cue for I'm out.
Oh,
Like
no,
I'm
no,
just,
there is. There is, yeah. You get to the point, you go, you just had to be there. That's
You don't
that's
so-
universal that everyone knows the storyteller is admitting that story sucked,
But
but was really funny if you happened to be there.
But you don't want to go with the like. Never mind.
Just quit on this
just trail
story.
off.
Just full qu-
That's the only way to get their attention when you're in the middle of a boring story, because they assume something good was going to
Yeah,
come, right?
that's
There was a point to this story, so that's your you.
Is
got
someone
to
at the
just-
door?
Yeah, no, I've definitely been there where I've and it's not even like a funny story that I know was funny if you were there always. It's just like I'm saying something, talking about a topic, and realizing this like I should.
This is not.
Why
a
did I
story.
speak? Why did
My wife, and this is not an insult to her because she will readily admit this, is the queen of the boring story.
Like she tells them?
Oh yeah, and she will stop halfway through, knowing and like admitting out loud, though this story is boring,
Oh my
but I'm
gosh.
going to finish it anyways, and I must endure. And one of the what's the right word I'm looking for? What are the hard parts?
Marmalade.
No, marmalade. Yep, you got it. One of the difficult parts when you have like a really good memory and you live with someone who does not have a good memory.
Oh, you get it more than
Oh.
once?
Is not only are the stories boring, but you get them multiple times and you have to make this decision. Do I interrupt and
yeah.
say you've already told me this story, or do you just play along?
I do have a line
like,
for that.
Like you haven't heard. You have a way out?
Well, I just have a fluid way because look, everyone's got family members that have told them stories because they've only got like once you get to a certain age,
Yep.
they lock you. Like the government comes and they say those are your stories, and those are the only ones you get because the rest of your life you can't make memories, and you only get these stories of when you were. I'm not even gonna get into it because I was
Right.
gonna like out somebody, but the line you kind of try to throw in real quick. You try to say, "I think you told me about that one time."
if you can
If
remember
you can
a
say
detail,
it like that,
But do they
then
keep?
they sometimes can dip out. It's only a 1 in 5.
Okay.
We'll dip out. The rest will finish no matter what. But you can throw in I thought you told me about that.
if you can remember a detail
Yes.
that's deeper into the story, you're like, oh, with the
Oh,
grandpa.
yeah, he was a Navy SEAL.
But
yeah.
is it socially insulting to that person? Like, do they feel?
Well, that's why you got to be excited about it. That's why you got to say, "Oh yeah," with the
Yes, you
like,
do.
you know what I mean?
Yes,
because
you
if
do.
you're like, "Is this the one with the Navy SEAL?" That's,
Oh, this again?
Like that's not going to go over as well. You got to be like, oh yeah, this was a good story that I've heard.
So so in essence you were complimenting
Yes.
them on the previous story.
Exactly right. Now I have a follow-up question to your situation
Yes.
of good memory, bad memory storyteller. What if they're not telling you the story, but they're telling a story around you, but you know the actual correct way that the event went, and you're hearing all of this stuff that's like,
Oh, yeah, do you jump in and
this
correct the
this
storyteller?
is not right. Do you jump in and help and fix, or do you just swallow your tongue and sit there with your eyes rolling back?
I'll tell you the real story later.
This happens to me all the time.
I know. It has to. It's life. If you've got a great memory and they've got a bad memory, it's got to happen. So what is
it? I feel out the story, and it's like, does this particular detail matter?
That's good. That's a good filter.
To the end of the story. If it does, I will jump in.
Like the main people in the story. If some of them are off, do you correct that?
Or it's like, but if it helps with the punchline of like, I'll try and guide the story to the actual truth. If it's not a big deal, I'll just smile and let it go.
That's good. That's good because not every detail's needed. But
Exactly.
I'm more
that's a
curious when
very
it's
mature way to handle
when it's
it.
a wrong detail. When it's
Yeah,
just
Or the whole story's made up.
I've heard wrong details. I've heard multiple stories multiple times, and the details keep changing. And I'm like,
You're like, I remember the original, but
gotta
you're playing telephone.
you've already told this story.
I got to tailor my story for my audience. It's like they wouldn't have liked this part.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's funny.
That being said, getting back to the OG question.
Yeah,
here.
listening to a boring story, it sucks, but
It's the worst.
but it's doable. I mean, we've all practiced.
I would much rather be the storyteller here, and here's why. Because I don't realize that it's boring, right? I know I'm going to bore people. Sorry, but I'm not bored. And then when
Or self-aware.
well, but eventually you become self-aware, and once you realize that you have told a really boring story, depending on who the storyteller is, it can either erupt into laughter and fun and making fun of the horrible, boring story that did not need to be shared, or if you're a listener and the person finishes their story and it's done, and it was just like, that was really boring, there's nowhere to go. What do you say to the conclusion of the boring story? You go,
Cool.
Oh,
all right,
Cool
then.
story, bro.
okay, exactly.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
just a jerk. So for me, I know that at the end, we're all going to laugh at me and have a good time and be merry and jolly.
Today's show is brought to you by friends at Prize Picks. It's football season. That means it is Prize Picks season, ladies and gentlemen. Prize Picks is the most fun you can have, winning up to 25x your money this football season. You heard that. 25x. And it's simple. You just select two or more players, you pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. Do you like football? Do you like sports in general? Do you want to have a little bit more fun while watching those sports? Do you think you know more about football than other people? Prize Picks is the way to test your might. You can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. It is football season, so that means that I'm jumping in the Prize Picks app all the time, trying to see, are there players with stats where I feel like they're going to have a good game, and so I go in there, I pick more. There's players, I do not like this matchup, I'm definitely going to go less. It is that easy. I am telling you, if you know sports at all, just jump on Prize Picks. You're going to have a good time. Go to prizepicks.com/spitballers and use the code SPITBALLERS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/spitballers, code SPITBALLERS. First deposit match up to $100. prizepicks.com/spitballers. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Jason explains in 60 seconds.
Well, it's been a while, Jason, and we need your wisdom. So, Al, what are we learning about today?
Let's find out.
Dr. Jason is here,
Oh, boy.
honorary doctorate
You've
from
been
Harvard.
upgraded?
Yeah.
Jason, you have 60 seconds to explain photosynthesis.
Oh, I mean, that's so easy. This is like third grade. Photosynthesis is the process where trees and plants, anything. It's got to be green. That's something that a lot of people don't know. It's got to be green, and they take in your farts and your CO2, all your emissions, and they're going to convert this into oxygen. So they're going to take the plants are going to take this photosynthesis process, your emissions. They breathe in your farts, and they give you clean air to breathe, and in so doing, it's like their digestive system, which is what the scientists call it.
Right, from the plant.
Right, when it comes in from the green part of the plants, which is known as the chloroform. The Clorox part of the plant takes in the bad air, puts out the good air, and it lives and you live, and that is photosynthesis.
So that's the circle of life with the
plant.
With
that's right. That's right.
So you can actually benefit the plant if you were to produce an emission near it.
That is 100%.
I just want to double check with you, Jason. When you have the prefix photo,
right,
what
green? So I already answered that. If you were listening and paying attention to this lesson,
okay, perfect.
The photo of the photosynthesis has nothing to do with like the sun or.
Okay, I got you.
This is the color that you have. You ever taken a photo without color, Mike?
Artistically, yes.
Black's a color. Okay. So no, you haven't. Ipso facto. You don't know anything about science, Mike.
All right. Well, I feel like we've learned, and now we'll help you.
What's the difference between me and you?
Well, I feel like I'm ready to share some scientific knowledge. What is the difference between rotten, rancid, and spoiled?
Okay.
Well, one of them's a brat.
One of them is a band.
Right. That's rancid and with terrible.
And one of them's an apple.
That's right. Apple,
Which
band,
one
and
is,
brat.
is the spoiled brat?
So yeah, you get a spoiled brat.
Okay.
So rotten and rancid. Look, spoiled is. I think something can be spoiled without being rotten and rancid. Like it's the first step towards rotten and rancid. But spoiled could be as simple as, the milk isn't rotten yet, but it's spoiled. It's got a little odor.
Very nice. Can a non-liquid be spoiled?
I would think so.
It's a good question you bring up, Mike,
Yes.
because the way that we use it in the common vernacular
Is milk, right?
is milk.
It's the most common.
Right.
What else spoils?
I mean, you could say that the yogurt's spoiled.
So dairy.
You could.
Okay,
Could
so
you say
we've
the cheese is
expanded
spoiled?
a little bit. I don't think cheese can spoil.
Can you say that the apple juice is spoiled? It's
No,
not rotten.
That goes rancid. You can have rancid apple juice.
Apple juice goes bad?
Yeah, it can.
Yeah,
oh,
it
yeah.
can.
Whoa.
Normally, it just becomes like filled with alcohol.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I thought that's like apple wine.
It's fermented.
That's what you call it. Oh, cool! We got another can of the rancid apple juice.
Juice box 1987? This is awesome.
He's buying up old juice boxes on eBay.
Now, I feel like there's a difference here between the smell and the taste, essentially, right? Like, I feel like if you eat something that is spoiled, it is rancid.
Wait, what?
I don't know. I mean, I liked where Mike was going, where like rotten is a hard object, rancid might be liquid. Is there a liquid?
And spoiled is dairy.
And spoiled is dairy.
So if it's a hard object, it rots.
Like
Yeah.
meat rots.
Yeah, meat totally rots.
And obviously, fruit rots.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Now, to
does
rot-
fruit go rancid?
I actually think to rot, it has to have been alive. It has to have been. It has to have been something that was living, meat, plants, and it rots.
Because it rots away.
Yeah, I mean that's.
But to be fair, like most of what we eat fits that category,
Oh,
right?
not most of what I eat, brother. that is heavily processed food that coming out of plastic for me.
So what does it do? Does it spoil?
No,
No,
it's
that
not
stuff
dairy.
never-
What
goes
happens
bad.
what happens when a piece of bread grows mold? What is it any of these?
Well, a piece of bread was never alive, so it can't be rotten.
Well, it was
I mean,
wheat.
it was alive.
It's.
I'm just saying, if a piece of bread grows mold, is there another thing that happened, or is it rotten, rancid, or spoiled? Is that spoiled bread?
I'm going rancid. Going rancid bread.
Man, rancid makes me think it's got to be like it's got a bite to it.
Yeah, well, that's why I was going flavor,
right.
but maybe it's deeper
Oh,
than
that's
that.
rancid.
Yeah, well, that sounds more like a smell.
I got to see what my aunt how she would exclaim it.
Rancid is
this is called
rancid is definitely the furthest step beyond, right? Like the progression of how
Really?
Rancid's-
No, rotten's the worst.
No way.
I think
Rancid
rancid's
is
worse.
Rancid is, this is starting to rot. This is rotten.
It might be rancid
This is
someday.
rancid.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, 2/3 of doctors agree.
I
that-
mean, maybe rancid is a stage of rotten.
What's funny is spoiled is a completed state. I mean, you have been spoiled. It is over for you.
really?
You are no longer. You can't you can't eat something that's
There's-
spoiled. It's been spoiled.
There's no redemption for
No.
that.
Oh, it is past tense. That is a good point, Andy.
I think we've really encapsulated
Yeah.
most of the major
I didn't learn
concepts.
anything that time.
What's the difference between a hop, a skip, and a jump?
A hop, a skip, and a jump. This is. I mean, playground children could tell you the difference between a hop, a skip, and a jump.
I think jump is standing out on its own. Is that a 2 foot thing?
You can jump off of 1 foot.
Right. So
It's-
then what is it? Height?
It's yeah. I mean, is it easy enough to put a rope below you? There's a reason they call it jump rope. So if you can put a rope under the jump,
But you skip rope.
no,
Yeah, I mean, there's
don't.
a thing called a.
Once again, I gotta do 2-legged hops.
There was a thing called
wait,
a-
not a hop.
there was-
If the rope's going under, it's a jump.
I was gonna say there's a thing called a skip it, right?
Well, it's called skipping rope.
Right.
No, it's not. It's called jumping rope.
No, there is a jump rope, but it used to be called.
You don't remember that
skipping
toy
rope.
where you'd put
Oh,
it on the
yes,
right
yes.
leg
and it
and
had
then
the counter.
it was
on
like
it.
a skip it.
and it would annihilate your shin.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, it would.
If you weren't good.
But
Get
I mean,
out
I'm
the
just
way.
saying you were skipping then
So
because it's called a skip it.
No, skipping is they just were being too liberal with the term skip. Skip is a movement.
yeah, skip is a one foot and then you switch the foot and then one
Yes.
foot and you switch the foot.
But how is that not really just a bunch of hops in a row?
Because a hop is
a hop is 2
hop is
feet to 2 feet.
a
It
hop
has
is
to be 2 feet?
Yes, 2 feet. And
Always.
it's a tiny jump.
Oh,
Yep.
like a rabbit.
Yep, you
Yep.
cannot. You can't
A
leap.
rabbit can hop and jump.
Oh
Right.
yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
It doesn't always hop. People think rabbits only hop, but sometimes they have to jump. They have to leap.
They cannot skip.
No,
though.
they don't skip.
There's no way their legs don't work in opposite. They can't go left and then right. And
They
then
don't
left
have
and then
individual
right.
function.
No. But a hop is 2 feet to 2 feet.
So a skip has to be a cadence.
Yes,
It has to have a cadence
yes.
to it.
A rhythm, a cadence. It's great. And then a jump just has to be able to clear someone else putting a rope under it. If you couldn't put a rope under it, there's no way it's a jump. It's impossible.
I think there's got to be a height. I think a jump you got to get. I mean, higher than Al Borland can go.
I think I thought of something. A jump can be just vertical.
Sure.
Right.
You don't have to move.
You can just move up and land in the same exact spot.
That's
can
right.
you hop like that? I feel like a hop implies there is some forward movement.
You'd hope
Okay.
so.
Oh, man.
no, I got it.
No, I like that. I think that's true. I think a jump can be. You could be jumping up for something directly above your head.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be skipping for that.
But you can't hop for something.
Now, I will say a skip does need to have a certain speed to it. You cannot.
Yes, that's true.
You can't go super slow and call it a skip.
No, then you're walking.
Right.
Also,
Go ahead.
there's far more functionality with a jump. You can
Yeah.
jump kick. You ever jump kicked?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I mean-
you ever been jump kicked?
And we had a clarification from Al Borland. It's a jump rope in American English. It's a skipping rope in British English.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So-
we have to trust him because his memory. All right. What's the difference between yoga and stretching? Do you know the answer to this?
Yeah.
Is it one of those like all yoga is stretching, but not all stretching is yoga?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
true. All
that's a real
yoga
good-
includes stretching. Definitely not all stretching includes yoga. You can stretch and not like break a sweat. You could stretch
Correct.
and have a good time. You
Oh,
could
yoga
stretch.
is only about misery.
No, you cannot have a good time with stretching. Stretching is
well,
the
I can't.
stretching is the worst. The worst.
It's because of the time. Every time I've ever stretched,
Boring.
I've done it wrong because you're supposed to. It's like, okay, 30 seconds in this way, and I can get to 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I switch to the other leg, and it's like, no, you're supposed to spend 30 seconds on that leg.
Well, and part of this is going to be about the music, right? Because you're not putting there's no such thing as stretching music. That you don't put on some nice, relaxing, meditative,
right?
Calm. Like there's no atmosphere to stretching. Stretching is what you do.
And there's no cool names for stretching, like
No.
downward facing dog.
No, you're just
Warrior 2.
Yeah.
uh
These are yoga
Go,
terms.
Jason.
These are yoga terms.
yeah, like
Give us one of your favorites.
Warrior 1.
Very nice.
Upward cat.
Which of course, Warrior 1
Yeah, it's my favorite.
is and you show the people.
Yeah,
exactly.
if you were to
do Warrior 1, where
Yeah, I mean,
exactly would your arms?
like if you were watching on YouTube.
My arms would be straight up, and my front leg would be out, and my rear leg would be back.
All right, I think you're kind of right.
Yeah.
I think it's close.
Yeah.
Do you have to be wearing Lululemon for one of these,
Or a knockoff.
or an? Oh, well, certainly.
You can have an off.
Which are also provided by the same manufacturer, but they just don't have.
We're not all made of money
Right.
buying Lululemon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if your clothes are baggy, then you're probably stretching.
Right.
See.
You know, I think that's one of those. Now, if you've got a shirt over something that's tight under it, like you can wear that at
And
yoga.
do yoga.
But if it's just, one layer of loose, oversized clothing, then I don't think you're allowed to do yoga in that.
They don't have stretching pants. They have yoga pants.
Right, and you don't need a mat to stretch.
Oh,
you
it's not
do
required?
have to have a mat. One of the most important parts of
Yeah,
yoga is
yeah,
a
yeah.
yoga mat.
You do. Yeah, you have to buy one from them, from the yoga people.
From yoga.com.
Oh my gosh, yoga!
That's
yoga.
a good domain.
Do you remember doing? You remember doing P90 and there's yoga day,
Dude,
and then you'd be like, "Oh, good! I'm so thankful it's yoga day." And then you'd be like, "I want to die today. I want you to kill me because I don't want to do yoga for one more second."
Yes. If for those of you out there who have just scoffed at yoga and whatever, try it. It is so unbelievably hard and
Unacceptable.
it's ridiculous because you'll be sitting doing nothing and just dripping sweat because
We're not
you're
meant
really
to-
getting after it.
We're not meant to pose. That's what I've decided. Yoga taught me that people are not meant to be in certain positions for a long time.
Well, that's where you want to go to Pilates.
Now, what is Pilates?
Pilates is like yoga with movement. So you get in a pose, and then when you're there, you're testing your body. And
Really?
Yeah.
So you get into Warrior 1,
And then
but
you're
then you
like,
shake it up?
and then you're like, now move your arms up and down, and it's
Really?
the worst.
That's
It
Pilates?
It is the hardest thing.
I
I
thought
think
it was a bunch of leg kicks.
Well, sure. I mean, it depends on the pose. Is it your arms? Is it your legs? Your booty? What are you shaking?
So
But
it's a lot of shaking.
Which way? What's Zumba then?
That's dancing.
yeah,
Zumba's only dancing?
only
Yeah.
shaking. If you're,
Yeah.
there's not 1 second of a pose in Zumba. But I will say this genuinely, like I long ago was an athlete, right?
You were.
I played basketball. I was in great shape. I ran long distances, yada, yada, yada. I've never done anything as hard in my life as a Pilates class. It was
interesting.
It's this combination of it's so physically demanding and you feel so stupid
Coordination issues.
because I'm doing barely anything. I don't
Right.
have any big weights that look cool.
Yeah.
I'm just like squat down a little bit. Maybe lift that leg up. Now move it just a little bit. I can't do it.
I come to think of it, the most embarrassing time when we used to work out together was not the workouts.
Mm-mm.
It was the warm-ups where we had to do things that involved coordination while other people watched us.
Any kind of coordination with stretching and
Jump rope was a problem too.
Skip rope.
I'm
not in my country, Mike.
not in my
This
country.
is America.
All right, let's draft.
This show is brought to you by our friends at Ibata. How does free Thanksgiving sound? This year, Ibata is here to give you cash back and help make sure your Thanksgiving table is complete, because who wants turkey without the gravy? Starting November 1st, for the 4th year in a row, Ibata is giving 100% cash back on your Thanksgiving feast. Just add the offers in the app to redeem for everything you need to make your Thanksgiving feast complete. All you have to do is shop at your favorite retailers and upload your receipt. Ibata gives you cash back on hundreds of grocery items, from produce to personal care to pantry goods, so you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much. With Ibata, you get real cash back that you can cash out to your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. Download the Ibata app now and use code BALLERS to get 100% cash back on your Thanksgiving dinner starting November 1st. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibata app and use code BALLERS. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use the code BALLERS.
The Spitballers Draft.
All right. Well, this kind of fit in with what we talked about today, because we talked about going to the future. Now, we thought it was 80 years. It turned out to be 180 years into the future. We talked about going to, I guess, 1,180 years into the future. But this question comes down to inventions, home inventions. And what are the best home inventions over the last 30 years? We're going to kind of, we don't need electricity climbing into this one. We don't need some
plumbing.
of the plumbing.
Which is a great invention.
Right.
Sure.
Right. But the last 30 years, what do you think has been the most valuable home inventions that now impact our modern life? And Mike, you get the first pick, so you have a lot to choose from.
This stinks.
I don't know if we're going to be even in the same stratosphere of picks on this one.
Well, there's a clear 101.
Is there?
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm taking a version of it,
Okay.
and I will preface, I don't think that my pick stops from other shoot-offs from this. I think that's perfectly acceptable, but I want to specify broadband internet.
Yeah, high-speed internet is what I had. Absolutely.
Because when you got the internet and you had the AOL and you were on the 56K, or if you were like my household where our telephone lines couldn't even handle the 56K, I don't know.
28.8.
Yeah,
36.
It was
33.6.
It was abysmal, and yet it was awesome. And then someone showed you for the first time high-speed internet, and you're like,
It feels like you're breaking the law.
wait a minute, this web page loads faster than 5 minutes?
Tell me about this DSL.
Yeah, like it instantly
wasn't even on my
loads?
list.
Broadband?
So here's what's funny.
Because I put a wireless router on my list.
Well, don't give your picks away, man.
Well, that would be different.
wireless. No. What's funny is I didn't have it on my list either. I made my entire list, and then afterwards I was thinking, all of my things need high-speed internet. Oh, wait a minute. That's the clear 101. So, Mike, I was really hoping that you did not have that on your list as the second person up here, but unfortunately, you are a bright man.
That did change things more than anything else, because it allowed everything.
It's a utility.
Yeah.
Like plumbing. I mean, try living in your house without high-speed internet.
Okay,
now.
Jason, you
Oh,
are
man.
up.
That's called camping, Mike. I mean, genuinely, if I was at home and there was no internet, no
Right.
5G on my phone,
See,
if there was no internet, I would call that camping.
I guess it's fine, but I was thinking it had to be a physical object that you had.
Oh, it's
If it's an invention for the home, I thought it had to be a physical object in
Okay,
your house.
high-speed modem.
there you go. Perfect.
Anyways, go on.
All right. So for me, the rest
I'm
of
out.
The rest of my list is like all the tier of it doesn't matter. These are all just good, cool things.
Well, that's what's supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, one of them is just so incredibly important.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna go with.
Well, I was saying high-speed internet. I'm gonna say the invent of the big screen TV.
Yep.
You know, it's
Flat screen.
It's iterated over time. But you know, we used to have the
No,
old,
he selected 90s big screen.
No, I mean,
He did not select flat screen.
The big chunk?
He-
those
He selected the
I
one with the
had-
big back angled.
oh, the big
the triangle.
angled back. I remember buying one of those that was 72 inches was the TV, which was monstrous
Yes.
at the time. And because of that, the whole TV and the stand and everything. I mean, it was a room unto itself. But really, the TV is over the last 30 years become the one of the gathering spots in the home. You're gonna get together, watch sports, watch the latest soap operas, and you want a big screen.
What's your favorite soap opera?
Oh, days of your lives, days of somebody's lives.
Okay, all right. So you picked flat screen TVs. It was on the list. I've been told, I've been informed through the grapevine that this is still an acceptable pick. So I will go with Wi-Fi.
Yes,
I will go with wireless.
To me, that's very different than broadband.
Wireless technology in the home changed everything. We grew up, even with like your telephone, with the 60-foot cord. The like elastic cord. So you'd walk and like you'd be wrapped up in it, or it'd be going all through the house. So I think. Go ahead.
I had a very I remember my first encounter with Wi-Fi because I already had the cable modem. It was high speed, and then I was trying to hook up a PC to my gigantic television that took up half of my room, and someone was telling me, well, you can get a piece of machinery and just put a little chip essentially in that computer, and it has the internet. And you're like, no way. That is malarkey. It's got to be so slow. And you're like, no, it's actually very, very fast. Most of the speed of your direct into the modem. You're like, this is impossible. And then you got it going, and it was modern magic. I could not believe there's no wires in this thing, and it is still getting the internet at a high speed.
All right, for the second one, I didn't want to go into the category of like a home invention. Netflix is not a home invention, right? That's a technological, Silicon Valley invention. So for me, the invention that I think revolutionized things that still, it's still the reality of what we have today is the DVR.
Yeah, sure.
So it started with TiVo and Replay TV, but the idea, even now, all the major providers, you've got the ability to. I grew up and if you wanted to watch something that was on, you had to put in a VCR tape and then go to the blue screen and program it for 15 minutes. And maybe you didn't cut it all off, which you probably did, or you recorded over something.
Oh, man.
DVR changed it so that I didn't have to be around at a certain time. You got to watch TV when you wanted to watch it.
And skip commercials.
Did your parents, were they VCR people?
They still are.
No,
Okay.
They still have a VCR right front and center.
But I'm
hooked
saying,
up?
Yes.
Hooked up to it?
100%.
is it still used for recording though?
I do not believe so.
Okay,
No.
but I
You
have
even hook that up to a modern TV.
Very difficult.
finding one that has RCA cables or adapters. But I have also the memories of watching my dad go mano a mano with the VCR. It's got the blue screen.
That's it.
And the giant font, and he's trying to
Program
set up
it.
and make sure that it's going to tape at the right time. And then you got to remember the cable has to be on the right channel.
Yep.
Or you come back to the tape and you're like, who changed the channel? Ah!
It's so funny. But yeah, DVR I think is my second pick.
I love it.
All right. My next pick is something that, man, I don't ever want to go backwards from. Because there's a lot of smart devices, and I'm sure that that they're going to be on our list. But for me, almost everything is controlled in my home from room to room. It's an intercom system. It's a lighting system. It's a music system. It's everything, and that's the Alexa devices.
Okay.
That's the one I use, or whatever. Maybe we generically call it
Just your
whatever
smart speaker or whatever.
But those things, they control. I've every room has.
I had home automation on my list.
Yeah, so that has changed my house. I don't ever want to go backwards. You think I want to walk to my kids' room when I can just say, Alexa, announce, and then it just
Bong, bong.
wake up, everybody, get up out of bed.
Love it.
Yeah, had it on the list. I am a little surprised this one made it back. But you have a bunch of devices that can use the internet. How about the one we're looking at right now, fellas? I will take a laptop computer.
Is that a home?
What?
Invention? Is that?
I
feel like
took it
that's
off my list on purpose. 'cause
Really?
I didn't think it was a home invention at all.
Yeah, because that's literally something you're supposed to be able to
Take
leave
away.
your home
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
But no, it's a computer that you can move
This is
around.
why I said I wasn't sure we'd be in the same category, because it's not really.
Well, we'll just need a ruling from the judge,
Okay,
because
give me
I'll
the
allow
judge.
whatever he says.
I would not consider it a home device.
So it's a device for what?
I mean, it's a device
It's a portable.
when it was
It's a-
originally made for like companies and corporations before it came home. It wasn't originally invented for the home.
Oh, okay. Well, I stand corrected. I will remove it then. All right, I'm going to go with a device that is still in its infancy.
Okay.
And I don't think that it ends. Maybe you're not going to call this a home device, but it's in our home, and I think
a car.
it's in a garage, dude. No, this over
I'm
time,
so afraid.
I think that this device is going to end up changing the world.
I so hope it's not. Go on.
Okay, I'm going
excited.
with a 3D printer.
Oh no,
Oh,
that's
heck
on my
yeah.
list.
Yeah,
That's on
okay.
my list, and it's a great pick.
Yeah.
And like, if you have not encountered a 3D printer of,
I'm actually mad you took you took that pick. I thought it would be a sneaky fourth rounder.
and like where the technology of 3D printing, once you see it and then you let your brain actually start thinking about what is possible with this, and you're like, holy crap, this will change the world eventually once the technology is scaled up.
Okay, that's a great pick.
All right, and then I'm going from that one, to something that will change the world, to something that it doesn't really change the world very much, but it makes things way more delicious. I'm taking an air fryer, man.
Oh, it's on my list. Absolutely.
Do I need an air fryer?
Yes,
oh,
you
it's
need.
so good.
Why are they so great? Do you
Because-
have one, Al?
Oh yeah, I made
Because-
dinner on it 2 nights ago.
Because you
What
can
does it do?
you can do a ton. I mean,
I don't get it.
I believe people say like it's basically like a souped up convent or whatever the
Convection
Convection
oven.
Not
oven.
a crock pot.
no, it's not a
Okay.
crock pot, but it does everything a microwave can do. Not as fast as a microwave, but way more delicious. It can do a lot of the things that your regular oven can do, but faster.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't just use it to make fries,
No,
No,
but if you wanted delicious crispy fries, you couldn't do
which
can't-
was impossible to do at home
can't
because
do it
of
in microwave, can't do that in an oven.
no oven soggy fries.
No, the air fryer is like, it's everything Mike just described, but imagine being able to fry things at home. Like you've got a deep fryer.
But without
Except-
oil.
Except
Yes.
it's not unhealthy.
Is there oil in it?
No, it's just air. It's an air that's super well
But
named.
how do you?
You would coat, if you were making homemade fries and that, you would coat them.
I would
with
say
oil.
what crisps on it
Oil.
without oil. Okay.
Yes, you put oil on the food.
On the food, but not in a bucket.
yes, and you don't have to deal with the dangerous hot oil and grease. Like, where do I get rid of this afterwards?
Yeah, you could put some wings in there. It's a great.
Yes.
Well, and
yeah.
you could use a healthy oil, like an olive oil,
Sure.
instead of the garbage.
That's a good pick. I
Well, I
like
mean,
it.
it's good
Garbage.
to if this makes the list of best home inventions in the last
I-
30 years, and I don't have one, that's a travesty.
This
I
is
was thinking through, like, what do I have in my house that
Yeah.
I want that's newer and I really don't want to live without anymore?
right.
And an
That-
air
If you're
fryer.
going to go
The-
shopping for one, Andy, get the one with the rotisserie.
But you
Oh,
you'll
okay.
hook me up. I know you'll tell me which one to get and buy it for me. So that's the spirit of that's the
Yeah.
core of this draft is what home conveniences exist that you literally would not want anymore.
And the one that I will take next was the first one that came to mind. Even though it's not the most world changing, the most fun, it's certainly not fun. But it's like, oh my gosh, I can't go backwards. They took this long-term, very necessary home device of a vacuum, and then they said, you know what? We can go cordless.
Oh.
A cordless like Dyson vacuum.
Right on my
Okay.
list for
I
sure.
mean, well, you want to be carrying around this plug, and then plug in, and you can only go
Yes,
so
this is a good
far.
pick.
And it's like,
There was a small period where the innovation of cordless vacuums did not match the performance of cordless vacuums, where you got it and you thought you were awesome and it lasted like 20 minutes
Yeah.
and then you couldn't vacuum the rest of your house without charging for another hour, but they've blown past
yeah,
that.
now it's like they're better vacuums that are so easy to clean. You remember bags in vacuums? You
Oh,
unzip
yeah.
it.
Yep.
Just awful. So yeah,
Okay.
cordless battery powered vacuums.
All right. Well, I will go with another technological home invention that I think has been very valuable. In fact, I don't know if people can live without them anymore. A video doorbell.
Oh,
I
that's
think-
a good pick.
The video doorbells, they're everywhere. Once you have one, you know who's there. It's a level of security. It's just, great. So
on my list.
and then for my last pick, only to hurt you.
Oh, no! No, it was going to be my last one, but I know what you're going with.
It's a bidet.
Yeah, baby. The best invention of all time.
That thing's been around forever.
Oh, you think it's before?
I
A powered bidet is before?
Bidets have been around for hundreds of years, but an
The
electric
powered one?
bidet.
That's what I mean, an
bidets are-
electric bidet.
I mean, you can check on that, but just so everyone is aware, the bidet appears to have been an invention of French furniture makers in the late 17th century.
I'm willing to pivot if you'd like me to pivot.
I have no idea if the new ones where they're all heated and
I will say this.
super fancy.
Gourmet bidet.
A
Yes.
vacuum was invented before the last 30
Right.
years. What Dyson did is they took that and they said, that was so stupid.
Put a battery in there.
And so like Toto, or whoever you like, has taken the long-term 1700 toilet seat bidet and said,
Electric bidet it is.
All right.
you want your seat warmed? You want your water warmed? You want to be air dried?
I'm good with it. It's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
It was definitely on my list.
So that's my final pick. I have Wi-Fi, a DVR, a video doorbell, and an electric
Am
bidet.
I on my last pick?
You are. You have a
What?
flat screen TV, an Alexa, or something in that vein, and then a cordless vacuum, and one final pick.
That stinks. I got so many things here I like.
Well, I can't wait to hear about them.
All right, I am going to go. I'm gonna go with this one because it's kind of like what Mike was saying. It's newer. It's in its infancy.
oh, please
It's-
don't take my last pick
it's
because I have no more.
Well, I doubt it. This is not a sponsor, but I have to say the brand because it's literally the only one that exists
Okay.
that I know of. And Mike, I know you have this as well. But a spin coffee machine.
Oh,
So a lot of people would say the Keurig. The Keurig has
Right.
changed.
Can I
coffee.
change your pick for you so it's a better pick?
Perhaps.
Gourmet coffee machines. Just broaden it out because for some people it's you're narrowing it down to something that nobody can relate to, like 0.001%. Where K-cup makers are this for people. Gourmet espresso machines, they are this for people. It was on my list, but it was going to be broader.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with it because the difference is what I actually like, which is that it grounds the beans up 1 cup at a time, and that I don't have to pre-grind beans.
is there other machines that do that?
Of course there's other machines that do that.
Oh, well,
Like 50,
thanks for sharing those with us.
50 of them grind. This is not a novel thing what you have with the spin. You just think
not?
you do. Some of it is. The spinning is novel, but grinding per cup is not novel.
All right, I will go with.
I was just trying to help
I
you.
will
You
go
can
with
stay
the
with your
gourmet
No, don't do the
coffee
version
machine.
number. Do the version number that you like.
But I've had coffee, just because I need it from time to time. Mostly Keurig.
Is this sponsored?
The last forever, and I didn't know that coffee could be good, could be great until actually having a gourmet coffee machine where it was like, oh my gosh, this isn't coffee flavored water, this is coffee.
You love it so much because you went from K-cup swamp water
Exactly.
to a spin coffee maker. If you had gone from K-cup to a nice drip system, you would have had the same revelation.
Sure.
All right, Mike, you are up.
All right, excellent, because I have one more good pick.
Yeah.
Also a technology in its infancy that is
Teleportation.
no, it's still that's
Power lines.
that hasn't gone off of the ground floor yet. But this will also change the world. And in 40, we talked about the future.
This is VR.
We might just be living
This is
there,
VR.
and I will be taking virtual
It's a
reality.
great pick. I don't know why you won this one.
Yeah. I
thank
will
you.
trade you a spin coffee machine for the VR headset.
And I give the same, instructions about VR that we were talking about. Of like, if you haven't tried a VR headset, you don't realize how realistic it actually is. When you're watching the videos of the people making fools of themselves because they have a headset on, and then you see them jump into a wall. Like, there's that, you can't possibly do that. It's fake. No, it is not.
Genuinely, I regret how little I use my VR because every time I do it, it's so enjoyable. It's so realistic. It's so fun. I love that your picks, your last three, was a sandwich of the incredible futuristic technology of a 3D printer, all the things it can unlock,
Yes.
then an air fryer, and then all the virtual reality. I mean, it's the perfect example of what we're talking about with home inventions.
And like for VR, I remember, Andy, you have told us this story of you got super into a ping pong game.
Oh, yeah.
It's the best.
I know exactly what you're
And-
saying. I've done it too.
And Andy went. So you're holding the handles to play the game, and Andy went to put his handles onto his virtual table that was not actually there, and then just
I tried to rest on the table that didn't
That's what it
exist.
was.
Yeah.
Because once you're playing and you're lost in it and you're playing ping pong and then the ball's hard to reach, that's what you would do in real life. You'd reach your left hand on the table and reach further, and you just eat it because there ain't no table.
Yes. So that's a great pick. VR is awesome. There were a couple other ones that I had to Google like when they were invented, and I was way off. Like I was thinking things like I didn't know how long like home jacuzzis were around, or or like garage door openers. That's going way back.
I have like the Nest cameras or home smart cameras and smart thermostats. That's a big one. Being able to like not be home and be able to control like pretty cool.
All that connected devices stuff.
Smart lights.
Oh, that's such a good.
Yeah,
pick.
I had thought of the Hue bulbs and things like that,
Yeah.
but I don't use those a ton.
Is it because it's so annoying to set up?
The toothbrush.
That's part of it.
The
I
toothbrush
feel
that
so-
flosses at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Floss and brush same time.
I
It's
feel
so easy.
so old.
Setting those up.
When there's cool technology that I don't want to set up now, because that is exactly what the VCR was for our parents. It was like, you do it,
Yeah,
son.
it's real
and now I'm
tedious.
like, Caleb, you set up the Wi-Fi lighting. And he does it better than me. So, any other glaring omissions, producers?
Think you did pretty good.
Nice.
All righty. That'll do it for today's Oh, no, wait. Hold on.
No, we got it.
What did we learn today?
And this one, I'll give you guys a second to think on your own, but mine was super easy, which is what an air fryer does.
Yeah, and I learned that the year 2200
Dang it, that was going to be one it's not actually
not
80 years.
80 years from now at all.
Well, Jason and I learned the same thing
Yeah.
today.
All right.
I
That'll
also
do
learned
it.
that rotten has to have lived.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we discovered that.
I still think most of your food lived. I hope you're not eating plastics on a regular basis, but that'll do it for today's Spitballers.
Or at all.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to the Spitballers podcast. To see what other nonsense the guys are up to, check out SpitballersPod.com.